Well, joining us to discuss this further is Professor Christopher Isike from the University of Pretoria's International Relations Department. Good evening, Professor, and thank you very much for your time. Now, beyond this unprecedented move by President Biden, many of us are now asking what events significantly shifted the dynamics of the U.S. presidential election. Could it have been the attempted assassination, the disastrous debate, or the mental acuity that everybody keeps talking about? What's your take on what could have been that last straw on the camel's back?
Well, thank you for having me. I think it's more to do with, it's a number of factors actually, but there was pressure on the president to remove himself from the race because of his mental acuity. That was a problem for many Democrats. There was a lot of pressure. But I think what convinced him was the numbers. The polling results were showing that he was actually, losing, getting behind Trump in large numbers in swing states and putting even states that are supposed to be blue, Democratic states, into play. And for him, he realized that it was more important to beat Trump than for him to continue to be in the race that may harm the prospect of defeating Trump. I think that was a swing factor for him.
Mm-hmm. So, Professor, what you're saying is that in the main, it was the mental acuity, not necessarily the attempted assassination or what many made a lot of, or much was made of, which was the debate itself.
Well, the assassination, the president had nothing to do with the assassination.
Yes. But then some were of the view, pardon me for interjecting, they were of the view that even those that would have not necessarily been fans of Donald Trump this time around would probably be more sympathetic and find themselves voting for Donald Trump if they were still perhaps confused as to how to vote.
Well, that would have been the case if Donald Trump had taken the opportunity to actually walk the talk of unity, unifying the country, which he said he was going to do. When he started his speech at the convention, which concluded last week, the Republican convention, he started well by talking about the need to unify, the country, that he would be a president for all Americans. But after the first 2 or 3 paragraphs, he went off script and became himself again. And immediately after that speech, it was clear, even to Biden himself, who came out to say that it's clear that this is the old Trump, the same Trump, nothing has changed, and the Democrats are more resolved in their intention to defeat him because he was not going to be a change candidate, and it was foolhardy of anyone actually to expect a 78-year-old man, to change.
Now, Professor, the Democratic National Convention is coming up. It seems as though, from just the reports that we're getting, that there might be just one candidate, being Kamala Harris. What are your views on this? Could there be perhaps another candidate that appears?
Well, there could be another candidate. Some people have indicated interest. Joe Manchin, the senator from West Virginia, indicated interest on Sunday, but withdrew this morning. Look, it's clear that she's going to become the Democratic Party nominee because a lot of the states are already pledging their votes to support her. But the convention is done in such a way that it doesn't prevent anyone from putting themselves in the race in the open floor of the convention. So that is still a remote possibility. And let's be clear that even though we think that Kamala Harris may become the nominee of the party, it's not all done.
Mm-hmm. What are we to read, if anything, of perhaps the likes of Nancy Pelosi having very little to say about an endorsement, but rather in their statements of the developments merely congratulating Joe Biden for deciding to pull out? Are we to read anything into that?
No, because remember, they are the party leaders. Is herself, is Schumer, who is this Senate Majority Leader, and Hakeem Jeffries, the House Majority Leader for Democrats. These are party leaders. They should be seen to be above board and not, a blessing or giving any kind of support to anyone until it has become clear, and they have party processes for doing this. So I think they're allowing the party process to come through, and immediately after that, I'm sure they will come out to endorse Kamala Harris if indeed she's the one who gets the nomination officially.
And how do the Republicans' unification around Donald Trump, or how does it contrast with the Democratic Party's current situation right now? Because it seems as though they're at an advantage, because it seems all of them now have united behind Trump. And here we have the Democrats now almost scrambling to just have a candidate that they can unite behind.
Well, that was the case until yesterday. We must commend the Democrats for how quickly you see them unifying behind Kamala Harris. She's also brought in a lot of money. High-profile governors, Democratic governors, almost all of them have endorsed her. So you can see that she's actually a unifying factor. The party is unifying very quickly. And I think that you are correct. The unity we saw in the Republican Party may have motivated them to quickly also try and repeat that for the Democrats, considering that they have only 3 months to actually engage in a very active campaign and get a shot at the presidency in November.
Is America ready for a female president and, more importantly, a black president at this point? What are Kamala Harris's chances?
Well, this is a very good question because if you look at American politics, it has a conservative strain that is rooted in racism and sexism. There are many who believe that Trump would not have won the election if he was competing against a white male in 2016. But that was 2016 when many people did not know Donald Trump. So these 4 years in the White House have made him well known, and a lot of people who were on the fringes, independents, and even Democrats who didn't want Hillary Clinton either for sexist reasons or for racial reasons. Well, she was white. Decided to vote for Trump. He was a new kid in the block. He pitched himself as an anti-establishment person. But his tenure in office has shown that he's not any of those things that people thought. And now there is a fear of Trump that tends to unify much of Democrats and even the independents who will become swing factor in this election. So I think that particular fear of Trump is a stronger factor that can make Kamala Harris possibly win the elections this time around. Otherwise, it is not, uncommon for anyone to wonder and ask the question of whether America is ready for a female president and a black one at that.
Professor, thank you very much for your time this evening. That's Professor Christopher Isike from the University of Pretoria's International Department.